Hello. This is March 29th, 2021. This is another trade review for the day. Unfortunately, it is a red day today, but I know what my mistakes were. Um, Essentially, I could have been green if I didn't trade this particular stock of HN. Let's go from alphabetical order. So let's start with CN. CN, I had an idea here that basically, it's going to reject these lines. I think it's coming off of no news. Yeah, so I had a pretty high conviction that it is just going to fail at the open or somewhere throughout the day. Um, Essentially, here I entered at the entered start position pre-market, and then it dipped. I had an idea to cover portion over here, but didn't fulfill that idea. Instead, I exited out my start position at a loss, and then re-entered here, and then added at the support and resistance here, seeing that it could fail even more, which it did, and then covered a portion here and a portion here. Overall, CN was a pretty good trade, basic trade. Yeah, HGen. This is a stock where I had an idea where I was gonna let the price action tell me what it's gonna do. Um, Actually, I got I kind of chased her because I had looked at this after looking at Mogo and CN. I saw this move where basically it kind of essentially just had this downward move. In which case, I had to start a position and wanted to um, essentially capture the downward movement. I traded the front side. I traded the front side with starter positions, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm happy how I manage my risk based on just capturing I guess, trying to catch a top tick with its start position. Um, Unfortunately, I got chopped out too much, and I just didn't have conviction of the trade, whether or not it will turn on the backside. Um, Unfortunately, I stopped trading, I think, at around this point because it was meeting my risk of the day. Um, but yeah, I missed this opportunity of basically catching this type of move over here. I think in the 15-minute mark, it looked, you could tell that it was on a big downtrend. Um, um, but I mean, hindsight is always 2020. What I can do is just prepare for the next opportunity and just learn from this trade. Next one is Mogo. So Mogo, I traded this at the open too. Same idea with CN. Start position at the open. Um, uh, Aiming to recognize around I think $9. I actually exited out on my starter position, in which case I essentially um, uh, I exited and then actually dropped down. Unfortunate for me, as I had the right idea on this play, but what can you do? I re-entered here and got stopped out here with the stop. I think stop over like 9.40 or 9.50, which I did get stopped out, and then re-entered at this price, and then exited out at a small profit. But overall, the trade was negative. Um, yeah. Anyways, those are my three trades that I did on the stock. All right, hello. This is another review. This is March 30th, 2021. Today I traded three tickers: CSCW, MBRX, and FLVTSI. CSCW, we're going to take a look at this. Essentially, my plan was pre-market resistance, hit those levels. Confirmation was essentially when the stock was failing to go up and it was fluctuating on um, 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 what's it called, the level 2, and essentially it failed when it's kept on trying to go up with volume, but it kept on getting hammered down. And yeah, essentially rode the ride. Only had to start a position and see where I could add. In hindsight, I feel like I could have added at 2.14 and recognized this downward move towards these levels. Either way, I think I traded pretty well. I had a plan, circular plan, and then essentially sold it. So happy with that trade. Next trade would be MBRX. MBRX has a history of um, selling off or gapping up and then selling off. So I had a negative buy side on this. Um, yeah, essentially it hit pre-market resistance and it was fluctuating around these levels. I had to start a position and then I added at the um, I think at the support and resistance levels of here on I think 75% of my position. Recognize some profit there and then recognize some profit here and then stopped out at a break-even price or a little bit of profit. I feel like I could have done better especially if you can see there's some resistance here and it was near VWAP levels as well as the 450 area. I think next time I should be aware of a potential move towards the down um, uh, towards a down trend. I clearly hit resistance here. I mean, there was a good chance. I think psychologically I didn't want to give back any profits, in which case I shouldn't be thinking like that. I could have had to start a position here and just risk off whatever 10, 20 cents. Anyways, I was happy with the trade, happy how I planned the trade. Starter and then adding the position and then recognize some profit. Um, yeah, very happy on how I traded that. Next will be VTSI. VTSI, this was a low float, so I needed to be careful of how I traded this. Always started with a starter size. I believe I had a starter size over here and recognized profit at the open and then re-entered again. This is probably one of those. Yeah, it was. These were bad trades. They didn't really reflect my strengths until this point. I entered here because of the whole dollar mark resistance level and pre-market resistance level, as well as the volume were fluctuating around that level, as well as L2 was having a hard time going up the $9. Every time it kept going up, let's say 907, 915, 920. I just got slammed down by a seller, and eventually everything just dropped down. I could have chased there, but I mean, it was safer for me to not chase. And they got halted down. I actually was able to enter around a few shares here, and then essentially just recognize profit here. Yeah, I was unhappy how I traded here. There's some points where I only entered a very small amount of shares and recognized half of it, and which I wanted to enter, 100 shares instead of 25 shares. Either way, that's okay. I mean, like if you just keep stuck to your plan, um, and then recognize what the price action is telling me, um, you just have to take profits from there. Um, Also a note is when I took this position and added on here, I recognized that $7 was really heavy. I think there's a buyer there or shorts were covering at that position. So it was safer for me to cover a portion or all of my position. In this case, I covered all of my position. That's just because I saw that it was really heavy at 7, and there's lots of support there. I was thinking it would go towards 687 area at these levels from the lows of the opening, but I didn't do so. Yeah, essentially I stuck with the plan. Traded fairly well. I think I could have done better on VTSI and CSCW. Actually, I could have done better on all of them, where I could have added and CSCW re-added on MBRX, and then VTSI I could have essentially not get chopped up in the front side. Yeah, that is my trade review. All right. This is March 31st, 2021. Today I traded 3 tickers: OCGN, RKDA, and TAOP. First one is OCGN. This was spiked up. I think the news was. Let me check actually. Yeah, no, there was no specific news on why this was bid up. So I have thesis on it that it's basically gonna fail. My thesis was right, and I basically was looking for a good entry to get into. I essentially saw this support and resistance about here, and I entered into there, got stopped out, and then I re-entered around these prices. This was kind of bad because I kind of chased it. I think a good order would have been, at the 7.67 area. It worked out. But I was prepared to have a stop out of this resistance level here if it went there. Either way, I covered half here into the support area and then covered another half at the 3-to-1 ratio. Could have held on to it, but I stuck to my plan. I was pretty happy how I traded that. Next is RKDA. RKDA, it's coming off, I think, with good Q4 news, financial year end. Yeah, I saw in the fundamentals that it's still the stock is not making any profit, and the cash flow is not. They have negative cash flow. So my bias on it was bearish, but I was prepared to, if it went on a bull run, I was prepared to essentially just essentially stop out on the stock and wait for the opportunity and wait for the sharp pattern to form and then enter accordingly. In here, I entered, I think I started at this position, and then re-entered here, and then entered more here, and then essentially covered half into this portion, and then 1/4 of my position on here, and then another my last portion of my position at around $3. Pretty happy of how I handled it and how I treated that. Could have held on again, but hindsight is 2020. Yeah, let's move on to the next one. Next one is TAOP. TAOP, it's coming off of NFT news. I had a bearish sentiment on it because of other NFT names. It's kind of dying down. There's less hype on it. So that made me more bearish on the stock. What I could have done better here is maybe have entered some starter positions at the whole dollar mark and resistance area. This would have been a good price to have just a starter position, and then look to maybe add the support and resistance. Here I had a starter position at the resistance area and essentially exited out on the support. Small shares to recognize, but yeah, stuck to the plan. I was kind of afraid of getting squeezed out, but I think if I looked at other NFT names and see how they were moving, I could have had more confluence and confidence of how it's just basically gonna die down. Um, yeah, I was happy of how I traded this as well. Could have caught the move, or I mean, could have you know uh, left a portion, but I had really small share size, and I got into my head that I didn't want to pay any commissions, which is a pretty bad habit to have if you're trading, and then if you want to trade on bigger size in the future, that's something that you shouldn't be thinking about. What I could have done better is maybe cover half here and then let the other portion work. Um, yeah, those are my three trades for um, um, these stocks. Hope you guys enjoy that. Thank you.